Good afternoon. My name is Joe Regola. I'm the director of the 38,000-member Ohio Association of Public School Employees and affiliate of AFSCME. I'm pleased to be joined today by Ohio Education Association President Pat Frost-Brooks, Ohio Federation of Teachers President Sue Taylor, and SEIU Local 1199 President Becky Williams. Also with me today, as part of the AFSCME family, is AFSCME Council 8 President John Lau. Not able to join us, part of the 120,000-member AFSCME family, is OCSEA President Eddie Parks. Also not with us today, but part of the coalition position that we're announcing today is the Ohio Association of Professional Firefighters, Mark Sanders, President, the State Troopers Association, Larry Phillips, and I know Sarah Kaminsky is here from the Professors Association. Thank you, Sarah, for being here today. Ohio Republicans have asked interested parties to deliver amendments to Senate Bill 5 by noon today. This coalition is here to announce that while we're very concerned about Senate Bill 5, we're not interested in offering amendments on a piece of legislation that is so extreme in its impact and so ill-considered in its construction as Senate Bill 5. And I want to offer one example of that has not been much discussed up to this point. Senate Bill 5 has an health insurance industry sponsored provision in it that calls for the elimination of the School Employee Health Care Advisory Board. That board, as was found in a University of Cincinnati study just released before the holidays, has already implemented cost-saving provisions that have saved taxpayers $154 million in school-only health care costs. There is another $500 million in savings available as a result of the elimination of high-paid brokers and other inefficiencies that exist in the system now if most of the proposals of the School Employee Health Care Advisory Board were to be implemented. Senate Bill 5 proposed to do away with it completely, and that provision was included at the behest of the health insurance industry. This week, the Columbus Dispatch reiterated its characterization of the members that we represent as privileged classes of workers. The 38,000 members of my own union average $24,000 a year in income. The 80,000 members of AFSCME Council 8 and OCSEA average about $34,000 a year in income. The members of my own union retire on pensions that average somewhere around $1,000 a month and are not eligible for Social Security benefits. At the same time, one of the principal advocates, the principal advocate for Senate Bill 5, John Kasich, was paid $50,000 a year for several years in a row for 1 week of work each year by the Ohio State University for his services as a visiting professor. This is twice as much in 1 week as an average OPSI member makes in a year to drive our children to school, keep their buildings clean, dispense their medication, and feed them, for some of them, the only nutritious meals that they get. It is also 4 times more, roughly, than what the average OPSI member retires on. And while I know the other union leaders will speak for the members that they represent, I made a point in my testimony to the committee a week and a half ago that my son-in-law is a firefighter, president of his local in Fostoria City Schools. My family is full of teachers. I know thousands of corrections officers, sanitation workers, caseworkers, and other members of the other AFSCME affiliates, many of them by their first name. I'm still looking for the single person from among all those classes of workers that is part of a privileged class of American citizens. Senate Bill 5 does nothing to create jobs. In fact, What it will do is eliminate jobs, and more importantly, will drive down the wages and benefits of many public workers on whom local economies often depend for their own welfare. Now, it's been suggested to us that we ought to adopt more of a concessionary approach in our relations with employers. But the truth is that for years, not just since the stock market collapsed in 2008, but for the better part of the last decade, as local budgets particularly and school district budgets have come under more pressure, concessions have become more the norm than the rule for the many thousands of workers covered by public sector collective bargaining agreements. And I want to speak about just a few, and I know you've been given a handout that includes a list of many concessions accepted by AFSCME Council 8 members and locals all over the state. In my own local and Salem City Schools, 8 years without a wage increase. Austintown Local Schools, 6 years without a wage increase. Latonia Exempted Village Schools, 6 years without a wage increase. Oregon City Schools, 4 years without a wage increase and significant health care concessions. These are not the exceptions. Over the years, they are the rule. And that is true for every union that is standing up here and is represented in this coalition today. Senate Bill 5 is destructive of the American middle class, destructive of Ohio workers and families, and again, is so extreme in its impact and so ill-considered in its content that this coalition will not be offering any amendments to that bill. Thank you. I'd like to introduce Ohio Education Association President Pat Ross, please.